everyone, and welcome to the Let's Not Talk Wrestling podcast. That's right. This is the podcast where the only thing we cannot talk about is professional wrestling. My name is Turbo Tony. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Marsander. How are you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, very good. It's not been too bad.
Now, we've had a week off now from doing the podcast, which has been good, recharging the batteries, all that sort of thing. And one of the things that we saw over that time is that people seem to want us to hear us talk about things that aren't wrestling. So we decided we're going to put this out there because we didn't, do an episode last week. That's our little olive branch for you guys. And obviously things will get back to normal this week as per usual. And we'll get used to it there. So this is the first time we're doing this. We're not entirely sure how it's going to go or how successful it's going to be. If it is, then fuck it. We'll just keep going along with it. And we'll just see how it goes. We like to experiment every so often, do we not?
That's it. It's not worth just trying something different.
Exactly. Before we do so, we've got to do something that we regularly do, and that's do our plugs before we can get into all of our topics here today. Of course, our plugs are facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast, the main way of getting in contact with us. In fact, if you'd been following us on our Facebook, you could have left a question for this episode. We have a few fan questions. You can also follow us on Twitter. That's Twitter handle being
@TalkWrestlePod.
It is indeed. And of course, you can send us any private emails of the sort to Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast @gmail.com. Plenty of ways to get in contact with us, to ask us any wrestling or non-wrestling based questions, as we seem to be going with here. So there really isn't any format of this show. We're basically just going to talk about a bunch of topics that I've plucked out of the ether, so to speak. Got a few fan questions. We're basically just going to yap on and give you some non-wrestling goodness. I think the best place to start, Matt, is obviously what we've been doing for the last week, which is, I flew over to Ireland. Well, I have flown over to Ireland, but I went over to England, had a vacation, holiday, whatever you like to call it, from wherever you are. Went to see you quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We had some fun. There were some pictures toted up on the Facebook of the like. You got me a Bootios t-shirt.
As much as I hate myself now.
Why do you hate yourself?
Because I want a Bootios t-shirt.
Oh, you should get yourself one then. No one's stopping you. Yeah. And obviously it came in the box as well. If people may be wondering, you've been saying that you wanted it. Yeah, I did. And obviously, normally when I do that, either my wife or Matt will hear it, obviously, and then they'll go buy it for me. So it tends to happen here a lot on the show.
It works out quite well for you that way.
That's right. So, we had a lot of fun. We, went to a couple of restaurants, went to a rock club, our old rock club, our old stomping grounds, Matt,
That's it.
It was so hot that I sweated through my Bootios t-shirt, but I'm sure people don't want to hear about that, but...
It was awful.
yeah. And we wore unicorns. The unicorn things. What were they? Unicorn headbands or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's what it was. Gotta assume so. Well, so they were just basically like New Day knockoffs.
Yeah, essentially.
Like I put up on the Twitter, it's gimmick infringement.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I didn't want the floppy dildo on my head now, because we can't go to that. But, we had those. I had some strange glasses. I think my wife's got a picture, so we're going to put it all up there, because the picture we showed didn't have all that extra garb on. But you did put it up on the Twitter, I think, so it's up there anyway. I went to London as well. Went to a place called Hamleys, I believe it is. It's a toy shop. Have you ever been there, Matt?
I've not been to Hamleys, no.
You've not been to Hamleys. Now, the whole deal with that, right, was my wife is a big Harry Potter fan. I'm a Harry Potter fan. My last Sanctuary of Negativity was Harry Potter based, right? So we were told by some friends that apparently they have a whole floor, because it's like one of the biggest toy stores in the country, right? And it's in London. So the whole deal with it there is that apparently Harry Potter's got like an entire floor. So you say that to my wife, naturally, she wants to go, right? That's just the way it is. So we went, and there's not so much a floor dedicated to Harry Potter. It's more of a corner that shares it with The Hobbit. So there was basically nothing there. So that trip was a bit of a bust, unfortunately. But, with me and my leg being the way it is, wasn't exactly great. You've been working most of the week, though, haven't you?
It's been tough.
It's been tough. But, yeah. You probably came across more Harry Potter stuff than I did, to be fair. So there is that.
don't know how.
Well, you don't have to beat much. That's what I'm getting at. It was one of those things, actually. It's quite funny because when we got back from the heat in England, it's been very hot this week. And I don't like the heat. I'm one of those people that don't like it. What about you, Matt? Do you do well with the heat?
I am not a heat person. I'm currently sat between two fans.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't got any fans going because they tend to muck up with my mic. But I don't know how you manage to do it because your mic is always fine. I kind of hate you a little bit for that, but
Know how it is.
yeah, that's how it is. I was saying this funny thing after a hellacious trip back, which I'm going to get into more into at the weekend show. It's my sanctuary negativity. Come out of the plane after all that heat, and it's just typical Irish weather. It's all cloudy. There's a big blustery cold wind. I just sat. I opened my hands. I was like, "Thank you. I love Irish weather," and I thought I'd never say that, but. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but it's still hot and bothered. We've got a couple of topics to get into, though, Matt. A couple of bits that we've spoken about here before. How would you like to do it? Do you want to talk about some of these topics that I've picked out, do a fan question, go to a topic, or do you just want to do all the topics first and the fan question second? Or how do you want this to go?
Well, alternate. Why not?
Alternate. That's a good idea. I like that idea. First of all, Matt, we've talked about this a bit before. I think this is the subject that people wanted us to talk more about that sparked this whole deal, was the whole gun control thing. And I know this is a little bit... I always worry about this because I've got a few political topics here as well. And you always get worried about... You talk about it and someone's going to not agree with you, take it personally. And that's where a lot of these very heated arguments came from. I mean, we saw enough of that with the whole Brexit stuff, which, But we've spoken a little bit about it before, and then you had the attack, that's more apt, in France after the Euros. Was it a speeding truck that came in?
Oh, in Nice, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they killed like 90 people or something like that. Crazy stuff. I feel very bad for France. They've had a massive terrorist attack. They had this. They had the murders beforehand, but yeah, they've not had the best of times. It's just not good. I don't really know what I want to say about this. The reason why we said this before about gun control, Matt, is because it always seems very odd to us when you've got Americans, by and large, defending the use of firearms when we live in an environment that doesn't have it at all.
It's kind of difficult because it's sort of like, I think but the thing is, I've seen quite a few videos of just sort of like American coppers who were shocked, sort of like, I think it was like they came over here and watched like how a Brit cop would take down like a guy with a machete sort of thing, and it's like it took two guys and then that was that. And all the American cops were just like, I'd have just shot him. It's like, that's not really the thing.
I think I read that as well, actually. It's that shoot first, ask questions later sort of deal. But yeah, I mean, like, we've got armed response here, so if like the shit hits the fan, we can get guns out onto the streets, but they're not the beat cops, right? They're not on the ground. I think the most they have maybe mace, a baton, maybe, cuffs, and all the usual stuff, but no firearms or anything like that. And the reason why they can get away with that is because of the stricter gun laws. It's not very easy at all to have a firearm in this country.
That's it. I think it's like, especially with like American police, like they kind of have to have a gun because sod's law, you know, the incident you're dealing with may very well involve a gun.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that the police in America should be going around with guns. I'm saying that no one should be going around with guns.
Yeah.
And the idea that some people say here, which is, well, the guns are already in the country, so there's not much you can do. Eventually, that'll get weeded out. And I think that there is statements of like other countries making such a bold statement about their firearms. And eventually it's petered out and it's got there. And I think that's, you know, anything's better than what you're getting now, right? So, yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I think like it's my my stepdad, if that's the appropriate name to call him. He's got a shotgun, right? But he had to go through like years of like vetting to make sure he was psychologically correct to have that. He always has to have it in a cabinet. In no circumstances apart from transporting it to a range is he allowed to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be padlocked.
Mm-hmm.
And the key has to be put in a certain place. There's like tons of different...
Probably once a year, a couple will come around and go, this is still secure.
Yeah, I don't even think he can have ammunition in his house, right? He has to go to the range and they supply it there, right? Or if they've got clay pigeon shooting, then they'll supply the ammunition on site.
He'll be permitted to carry ammo. I've got the same deal.
Oh, really? Okay. So
he's permitted to carry ammo, but he'll just occasionally just get a check. Like a couple come around and go, that is very well secured. Yeah. Good. Otherwise, the moment they even sniff that anything is wrong, it's like, seize.
Yeah, they take it straight away. No second thoughts. And, you know, it's the whole deal of clearly it takes a lot longer time to, you know, trace these guys, you know, do evaluations. Mm-hmm. And it's not cheap, right? They get firearms in a country with tighter gun laws. It's you're talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds, right? In some places, you can get a firearm for less than $1,000 in America, which is crazy. Talking about something that can kill people right there. And that's why it's so alien to us in maybe in most places in Europe. Well, not in Europe. I'm just going to say England and Ireland because that's where we live. Because we just live in an environment that doesn't have a lot of, you know, firearms, you know. Outside of going to a special event and firing at a range, I've never seen a gun outside of that environment. Apart from the statement that I said there before about the shotgun. Yeah. But that wasn't even taken out for me. That's how much respect, you know, that is there for that gun. That he was like, no, I'm not taking it out. It stays there. It stays there until I have to move it. It's not something I show off to people sort of thing, you know. So, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like, have you ever been to America, Matt?
Yeah. I've been over to the States.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been there myself, so I mean I'm not going to go and claim too much, but anyway, there's a lot of people getting very nervous and reaching for firearms instead of reaching for questions. That's what the problem is there. It's tough, and there's no other really way to go about it. And you've got a lot of other people coming up with firebacks and stuff like this, you know, like, you know, oh well, we need it because of this, we need it because of this. If you've got any reasonable person can talk through those, and I think it's clear that the system currently doesn't work. Yeah. So that's just really the bottom line of it.
I always link back to just a comedian, Jim Jeffries, and it'll always be that thing. It's like, I needed to protect my family. It's like, how many fucking enemies do you have?
Yeah. You know, like, oh, you know, one thing I will say about this, you know, in South Africa, right, you get a lot of people over there very nervous, right? They've got a lot of people that are break-ins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, over there is a...
You're talking about a second world country, though.
Yeah, no, I get you, but here's the thing, though, that that a lot of people there have firearms, right, and they'll be very worried. They'll sleep in separate beds, right, and they'll both have a firearm under their pillow, just in case this happens. So what happens then with issues like that is you have stuff like the Oscar Pistorius stuff that happens where he thought someone was coming in. He shot first without even waiting, and then he killed his girlfriend, right? Yeah. It's that paranoia that gets people, and it's that worry. Now, obviously, in a place like South Africa, as you say there, Matt, the living conditions there are much more different. Things are more dangerous, I believe. But still, there still has to be something that's changed there. But that's just my opinion. I come from a place that's doing a lot better, you know. I guess we're quite lucky in that sense, you know, that we don't have police with guns that are worried about what we have and all that sort of shit that happens. But there we are. All right, let's do a fan question there, Matt. Cameron asks, what is our biggest pet peeves and what is our favorite movie of recent memory?
This is the difficult one because there's like recent memory. It's like, how recent?
I guess maybe, like, you know, when this is recent, like a lot of people look at nostalgia, like when people say favorite movie, they might go Godfather or
because one of mine is The Rock, and that's quite an old film.
Should we say after 2000? That'll probably be classed as recent, I guess. Maybe. Yeah. What do you reckon then?
If I had to pick since 2000,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm like one of those people that's like, well, it depends.
Or how you're feeling on the day. Or any pet peeves? I mean, I have a segment for pet peeves. I don't think I can answer that because I do one every week.
Yeah,
but there we are.
I don't even know.
I picked 3
I have
off
quite
the
a few
top.
pet peeves, to be fair.
Go on, what's your pet
Idiots.
peeves?
The man
Idiot.
bun.
The what?
The man bun.
The man bun.
Whatever this fucking craze is, with like the shaved heads and the little bun at the back.
Oh dear.
I have a theory about that.
Go on. Do tell.
It's for their boyfriend to grip when they're fucking them from behind.
It's a handle to.
It's essentially like, you know, when you sort of like, you'd go, wait, look at it, girl with the pigtails, got like the handlebars going. I think it's the exact same thing for homosexuals.
You believe that's what it's for? That's
what it's for.
What if you've got a guy with a man bun that isn't gay?
Then he should grow some fucking dignity and cut it off.
Okay, no problem. Well, you see, there's like this one guy actually that my wife quite likes. I think his name's like Brock Ahern or something like that, and he's just like this guy who
That's
looks
a very Irish name.
Hey, I don't think he is, but he wears his stuff in a man bun. But like I don't know, he could be gay. I don't know. But do you basically think anyone wearing a man bun is either gay or they're hiding it?
I just don't like it. I just think it looks ridiculous. You're not a fucking Mongolian. You don't need a top knot.
I remember actually. I don't think we could talk about that. Oh fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. At Takeover London with Ty Dillinger, people calling
Ty
him the top
Dillinger
knot.
is fine. I don't care so much with Ty Dillinger. He's my exception.
You don't mind him then?
It's the perfect 10.
Okay, he's the only one who can pull it off.
We're discussing wrestling.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're not discussing him doing it, which is how he looks and stuff. I don't know. We're getting it dangerously close. I will admit to that. There are 3 movies that probably instantly come to mind. One I love, and I know I love because I love the source material, and it was finally a movie that I wanted. Was Dread.
I watched that the other night actually.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was on TV, movie. And I was just like to go to the other half, like sit down. We are watching this.
Yeah. Oh, it's
like, but no buts.
you sit and you watch. Yeah.
Enjoy.
If you haven't seen that and you like action movies, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go see it now. It's fantastic. And if you're a Judge Dredd fan and thought, oh, it would be another one like Stallone's, it's not. It's Judge Dredd done right. Finally on the big screen. Yeah. So,
and he doesn't take his helmet off.
That's it. Yeah. And all sorts of good stuff like that. Another one, Guardians of the Galaxy. I really like that movie, and it's one of the ones that every time I watch it, I enjoy it even more.
I can agree.
I'd go as far to say it's this generation's Star Wars in the sense that it's a great big space opera-esque, movie.
I was going to say, surely Star Wars is this generation's Star Wars.
Yeah, but too, because people fell in love with Star Wars at the beginning because it was this brand new things, brand new world. I know that like Guardians of the Galaxy has got source material.
Yeah, but I think with Guardians, it was one of those like it's source material, and everyone's like, I've never fucking heard of it.
It's one of the lesser known,
Marvel.
comics.
Yeah.
But I mean, that movie is just so good. There's not even a minute of that movie. One movie you haven't seen, man, I keep telling you to go see, and this is the one that I saw, and I think it got like the Oscar for best film last year.
Are you on about Black Mass again?
No, not Black Mass. Even though that one is very good.
Black Mass. The
Spotlight.
Yeah, that's one.
Spotlight, which is the one about the Boston journalists that uncover the sexual assaults on children from the church. It's not one that you watch to smile about, obviously, but it's one that will hit you and it stays with you. Quite powerful. And when I went to see that, it's one of those movies that, like, okay, there's sometimes, Matt, sometimes you get movies that get like the best movie Oscar, and you watch it and you're like, okay, I get why it got best movie because it panders to that crowd, but I don't like it that much. It's a movie sometimes a little bit up its own arse, right? Spotlight wasn't one of those. It's just a very grounded movie that keeps you engaged and just doesn't fuck around. It's straight to the point. And really, really good. Really enjoyed that. What about movies for you anyway? Have you thought of any?
There's a few that I quite like. I really enjoyed Fury.
Fury? What's in?
It's a World War II tank film.
Oh, I haven't even heard of it myself. So
It's got Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, the guy who plays the Punisher in the new Daredevil.
Oh, I don't know his name, but he was in Walking Dead as well. Yeah.
Him. He shall be known as him.
Him, yeah, the guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good. I really enjoyed that film. It's only fairly recent. I really enjoyed Deadpool.
Yeah, that was good. That's one of those movies that lived up to the hype, didn't
That's
it?
just like, I'm just going to ignore everything for the moment. I'm just going to shut my mind off and just giggle like an idiot.
Yeah. You know what's good about Deadpool is that it makes you think that it's one of those movies that you do have to shut your brain off. But if you are tuned into it, you'll catch a few jokes that you missed the first time.
Yeah.
That's why I like Deadpool. Deadpool is cool.
I've had that a few times.
And you know what? Because like with stuff like that, like for instance, I got really hyped up for when The Expendables was coming out. And I got like really into it. Like I was watching all the promotional stuff. I was like, finally, all these 80s action stars coming back. And when they finally did it, I was like, it was all right, but it wasn't nearly as much as what I built it up to be. Deadpool was more than what I built it up to be. So awesome stuff there. And it was like Ryan Reynolds' like best movie he's done. So
yeah, because it's Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it was his little baby, wasn't it? It was his little baby. But there we go. All right, let's get back to another topic, Matt. Oh dear, I feel like I'm letting you loose a little bit. We're going to talk about Kanye West and Taylor Swift.
You're not going to let me loose at all because I don't give two fucks.
Well, we're going to let you talk a little bit about your feelings on the Kardashians.
I couldn't give two fucks. That's pretty much it again. Go on.
Well, let's like naturally give our thoughts on like on Kanye as a general guy. That I don't like Kanye West. I don't like his music. If anyone does, fair enough. But I'm not into, let's say, I don't buy into his whole deal, right? Where he's this guy that won't smile on when he's got, when he's on camera or a picture taken of him.
The one thing, actually, there's one thing I quite like about Kanye West.
Go on.
Is you see all those little GIFs going around of when he's been caught smiling.
Yeah, so he just stops when he realizes.
It's like, shit, it saw me, grump.
Yeah. But that's you laughing at his expense, Matt. That's not you, understanding him or anything like that, no. Right? And I'm not a big fan of the Kardashians. I find them superficial. They live in their own little world of social media. Here's my thing, though. I will go into a little bit. I will say that I actually feel sorry for Kim Kardashian. That's the one of them out of all of them I feel sorry for. And the reason being is I'm not sure she knows who Kim Kardashian is anymore. That she's like almost like this robot who tries to do what will get her the most buzz, and she's good at it, right? But like I remember someone like reading an interview that did an interview with her, and they said it was like interviewing someone that was programmed, right? That like when they would ask her a difficult question, she would take like a second to think of how people would think of her answer, and then she would give a very PC answer back.
What, like how she was essentially trying to be her own spin doctor?
Essentially,
sort of
yeah. Where she's so caught up in keeping herself relevant that I don't think she knows who she is, personally. And being, the whole Kanye, I think he knows who he is. He's just fucking batshit, and he's an egomaniac. That's how I get it. My daughters like Taylor Swift. They like her music. I don't mind a few of her songs. She seems like a genuine girl. And this whole thing...
Hate.
Yeah, we use that as the background in one of our yearly montages. The other one was CeeLo Green, Fuck You, so, which was a lot better. I know you like that a bit more, Matt,
No, I didn't like that one too much either. I do not like this, whatever is popular music at the time.
Are you such a music hipster, are you, Matt? Are you, yeah?
No, because I didn't like it before it was cool.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. That's how.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm more older and I'm cynical. I can see what they're doing, in terms of like staying in the bars, and when people stop talking about them, there's something more outrageous happens when one of them's getting a sex change, or one of them's doing a nude shoot, or one of them says they don't have their 50.
Oh no! I was going to say this isn't going to turn into a Jenner talk, is it?
No. I'm not interested in that. So,
okay.
But Yeah, I'll tell you what I feel bad for is that you get people that look up to the Kardashians and Kanye West, and you see a lot of other people that they could be looking up to, like, you know, sporting heroes, people with actual talent. But that's just me. That's pretty harsh on me, but, you know, that's just the way I feel. I mean, you're looking at, listen, I always look at this as that I'm always surprised, and this is actually a compliment to some of them, that they've got so far on so little talent. I'm actually kind of impressed, right? You know what I mean? They don't actually bring anything to the table, really, apart from one of them had a sex tape, and, you know, their father was O.J. Simpson's lawyer.
Yeah.
They've got a lot on that. So, you know, in a way, fair play to them. In a way, fuck them all. But there we are. I will say one thing, though. You know, the Kardashians as a whole, you know, I'm a big basketball fan. They're known as basketball kryptonite because basically, as a basketball player, you get with one of the Kardashians, and in 2 years, you're unemployed and have no team. It's miraculous. It's happened to, I think, like 2 or 3 of them now. I think one of them is dating James Harden, who is like one of the worst defensive players in the entire league.
What,
I could show...
as a result, or?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly. Maybe it's even got any worse, but I don't know. I'm people for wondering in terms of basketball whether or not I rate James Harden. I really don't. I think he just doesn't. He's one of those guys, Matt. When I look at him, his eyes look glazed over, like he doesn't care. You know, he's just like, all right, I get paid loads. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. You don't really.
That's just a name to me.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought you meant she was going out with James Corden.
That'd be a bit different, wouldn't it? Jeez. No, I don't think James Corden is a Kardashian type, personally, but I don't know, if you get some enough buzz, I guess. Yeah, if anyone's asking me who I think is right in this whole thing, I think Taylor Swift is right. The whole thing we
haven't even mentioned whatever this whole thing is. We just started on ranting.
Well, basically, like, you know, in one of Kanye's newest songs, he basically blasted Taylor Swift and he said, "Oh, we could still have sex, and I made that bitch famous." Apparently, they leaked a phone call without her consent of Kanye calling Taylor and saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to rap this bit out to you. If you're okay with it, then I'll do it." But you only rapped out the first bit, which is, I still think we could have sex. And Taylor said, "Well, it's a little bit out there, but fine. If you want to do it, I see what you're doing. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, blah, 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 blah." And then he didn't rap the bit about, "Oh, I made that bitch famous," and that's what she's got a problem with. So they released this phone call, which they recorded without her consent. And I used to work in a bunch of call centers, so immediately I know they're going to get sued and they're going to lose fucking millions for doing that because you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it's just shitty. I think it's just them trying to stay in the limelight and make it a buzz. That's what they do. Every now and then, when no one's talking about them, they'll do something that'll get them a buzz. That's what the Kardashians are, and that's how they play their trade. That's how they make their money. But yeah. There you are. I had to put it up there because everyone's talking about it this week. That and Pokemon Go, you know, which we would like to. I will have to let you talk a little bit about, Matt, as we go along with this, you know, because I haven't played. I don't have a phone, so.
Yeah.
How are you doing a Pokemon Go, Matt? Are you doing good?
It's all right.
What's your best Pokemon you've caught?
Caught or have?
Either. I don't. Is there any difference? I don't know.
Well,
I don't
you
have
can level them up.
Yeah, but you would have had to have caught them to get there, surely.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your best?
I can tell you I have a Pidgeot, but I bred it, I evolved it ever since it was a Pidgey.
Oh, so he stayed with you since day one?
He's been for me since day one.
Oh.
Kind of.
I like doing that in the games, actually, getting your starting Pokemon and building them up with you. I was one of those few people that actually grinded up a Magikarp to get a... I know you can catch
man, don't get me started on Magikarp. Man, this thing is going to be a bastard to turn into Gyarados.
But it's worth it, Matt. You see the light at the end, you see this badass dragon-looking thing, and it's a sea monster, and it's like, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it.
And just like everyone else's experience, it seems, with the Pokemon Go app, it's crashed. I couldn't tell you. I think my most powerful is like a Hypno that I trained.
Okay, what's the most exotic one you've got? The rarest one? Do you have like an Eevee or a Mew?
I do have an Eevee, and she is like And there's apparently a theory to turn, like, how to know you're going to definitely get the evolution you want.
Oh, well, like, that's the one that evolves via the stones, isn't it?
But there's
like,
no stones. It's just you evolve it and see what happens. Apparently there's a theory about which one will, like, how to get the one you want.
Well, what one do you want?
I want Flareon.
Oh, okay.
I want the
Fair
fire.
enough. Was it like Flareon, Jolteon? I know there's another one. I can't remember.
Vaporeon.
Yeah.
And I want Flareon. I want the fire one.
You know what? When the actual card game came out, I had like a shiny of like Ninetales, which is one of the evolved form and one of the other ones. I can't remember the starting Pokemon anymore.
Vulpix. At work, it's been a bit terrible because obviously it's been a bit of a craze.
Yeah.
So we've downloaded. We've got like a PC at the front of the store, and we've downloaded an emulator.
Oh, so you've just got it there capturing?
No. I've been playing Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, I do remember that. I remember, one of the games I actually had as a kid talking about Pokemon Snap. Do you remember that? It was like the camera where you take pictures, and you can make certain things happen.
On the Game Boy.
No, it was on an N64. You're on like a rail, and you take pictures of Pokemon. Obviously, you get points.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I'm having flashbacks of those like old Game Boy cameras.
Oh, the ones that plugged in, and yeah. Oh dear, that's some good times, right? That's some good shit. I remember there used to be some freaky stuff on that camera. There was like some secrets where you just find random pictures of like the Japanese creators of it, and they would just like morph and shit. And it'd be like, okay, that's fucking weird.
Weird.
But still, Nintendo of all things. So there is that.
Hey ho.
Hey ho. All right, Matt. Do you want another fan question? Are you ready for that?
Yes, I think we're off to another one.
Okie dokie. Shader, who is very active on our Facebook, and thank you very much for that, asks, what is our favourite colour? What's your favourite colour, Matt?
Green?
Green? Why is it green?
I don't really know.
Your PC's green.
My PC is green.
Mm-hmm.
That could probably very much play a part in it. I don't know. I go through... It's one of those things. It's like, I don't know what mood I'm in. I used to be, at one point, it would be like red. Red. Always red. But
okay. You changed.
Yeah.
Maybe you need like a mood ring to figure out what currently you're feeling,
That's it. What is it today?
Yeah. I thought you'd go like white and red, go very patriotic with the podcast, But
that's true.
There was a time we were black
all
and white as well.
Rising sun.
All that, mine's easy. Matt probably knows it. Sky blue.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Man City colours. There you go.
Yeah.
I've always liked sky blue, even before I was a Man City faithful. But I used to look into the skies and wonder, would I become one of the greatest podcasters in the world? And now I am. Just me being egotistical there, Matt.
That's it.
As usual.
Feeling it
as well. You know what? Because that was kind of a small question. We'll go for another one. This one's from my wife, funny enough. She asks, what is our favourite Harry Potter house? What Harry Potter house would we be in, basically? What would you be in, Matt, if you were in Harry Potter house?
I don't know. I think Tara and I discussed this when you guys were over. Mm-hmm. I'd probably end up in a Slytherin.
You reckon you go Slytherin?
I can be. Like, I'd like to think like I'd be all like honourable and all the like to secure myself a Gryffindor house, but I can be a sadistic bastard.
You'd be one of the more honourable Slytherin, shall we say, or maybe one of the more dastardly Gryffindors. You're kind of in the middle there, I guess. Now, with every quiz, sometimes you get these online quizzes, or you can even go in like Pottermore and you can do the sorting hat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've always gone Ravenclaw. It's always given me Ravenclaw. Apart from one time it put me in Slytherin, but all the other times has been Ravenclaw. So Ravenclaw for me. Yeah. Ravenclaws for life. I'll tell you one thing that I was really annoyed with watching the movies is that like you kind of see how kind of one track mind the whole house situation is, because you never really see anyone from Hufflepuff past Cedric, and like you never really see that many from like Ravenclaw either. It's basically Slytherin or Gryffindor, the entire thing.
And it generally works down to, are you bad guy? You're bad guy. Right, you're in Slytherin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like in the last movie.
Like everyone in Slytherin's a dick sort of thing. It's like, that's not true.
In the last movie, like Professor McGonagall just straight up says to him, anyone that's Slytherin is getting locked in the dungeons. And I'm like, what? There could be some people there like, I'd like to help you fight off like the incoming threat, please.
Yeah, I don't really fancy dying, and I'm not one of the bad guys. Can I help? No. Because the sorting hat says you're a bad person.
You know what that is, Matt? That's prejudice.
Prejudice. That's right.
Prejudice. Right
it's
there.
House racism.
House racism, of course it is. Without question. So, Slytherin for you, Ravenclaw for me. All right, let's go into one of our other topics here. This is going to something that we saw this week. Central Intelligence. We saw that together while we were over.
Did.
In one of the nicest seats in a cinema I've been in. They're quite pimp, I will say that.
Quite cozy.
It's funny actually. I'm so cynical and I get so like annoyed of people not going in the right place. You know, when we sat down and two people went from the regular seats and just moved into one of the VIP seats because there wasn't many in the cinema.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to go up and tell them to fuck off. I don't know why.
No, our seats.
You didn't pay for this shit, all right? You didn't deserve it. So
to be fair, I was like when I booked the tickets, I was like, it looks empty. Maybe I just pay for the cheap seats.
You know what, Matt? And I would have told you to sit your ass in the cheap seats.
Yeah, my ass does not sit comfortably in cheap seats.
Yeah, that's it.
It goes quite numb.
But anyway, Central Intelligence then, that's the new movie that The Rock is in with Kevin Hart. We saw it. What do you think overall of the movie, Matt?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it again, but I definitely wouldn't go as far as to say, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to, like, the moment it comes out, like, I won't go see it in the cinema again, and I'm probably not going to rush out to pick it up on DVD, but I'll watch it again.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think it was one of those ones that obviously the plot is weak. You don't need to call it Central Intelligence. There's barely anything to do with it. It's just the Kevin Hart Rock show. It's just those two all the way through. That's all it is. The Rock plays like a unicorn-loving fat guy that becomes The Rock, right? And becomes a CIA agent. And Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart, really. He is who he is. He is that role in every movie he does.
Yeah.
That
was kind of like my whole concern with it to begin with. So I was just sort of like, it's Kevin Hart. He's just going to play like that black guy.
Well, the guy who makes sometimes racial driven jokes. That's the out of sorts, put in a situation he's not ready for. It's basically like ride along, essentially. But into a case there, Matt, I actually think here that like everyone loved Adam Sandler when he came up, right? And everyone's like, oh yeah, he's really cool and he does these really funny movies. And then it started going downhill for him when everyone realized that, one, Sandler had run out of creativity and talent, and two, he just didn't give a shit anymore.
What, the fact that Sandler just became a one-trick pony?
Yeah, and it's like, I'm wondering now about Kevin Hart. Is he going to become the black Adam Sandler, essentially? Like, is he going to do so many comedy movies where he is Kevin Hart that does Kevin Hart things that people just roll their eyes and just don't pay him any attention? I'm sure he'll do fine. I mean, Adam Sandler still gets people to watch his movies, so there is that. True. But, it's funny, actually, because I think Melissa McCarthy is going to end up being the woman version of that. The kind of one-trick pony.
Yeah, I already have that opinion.
Yeah. Which is funny, actually, has a cameo at the end of Central Intelligence, but which is fine. And I actually think that she probably paid to be that cameo just so she could feed up The Rock and, all that sort of stuff. So,
Quite possibly.
I mean, I'm straight and I wouldn't mind doing that myself. He's
just touching The Rock.
Just touching The Rock. Inappropriately, maybe, but there we are. And Rock still has his action movie stuff, so like he's fine. He's filming like the new Fast and Furious movie. That guy is literally like he's going to be good for life. Like that guy is just sorted.
In fact, I've literally just finished listening to a podcast, and they were like, "Is The Rock going to be like current day, like our generation's Arnie?"
Do you reckon?
Possibly.
He's got the success for it, I guess, until he gets older. Maybe goes into politics. He's not exactly shied away from that before, is he? So he can father an illegitimate son like Arnie did. Yeah. Since he can go into wrestling and be really good. That could be good. But still, that's just me being even more selfish, Matt. Maybe draft that guy. Draft him future. The future illegitimate son of The Rock. I want him drafted to Raw. There you go. That's it. But still. Central Intelligence, give it a thumbs up for a movie. You go there, turn your brain off. And
I got what I expected from it.
Yeah. I didn't expect a great movie, and it wasn't great. It was okay. It's not one. I tell you what, Matt, it's one of those movies that I'll see again in 5 years' time and go, oh, I saw that in the cinema with Matt, and then that'll be the only thing I remember about it. Really, I'll be like, oh, okay, there you go. Like the majority of Kevin Hart's movies. There we are. So, okay, fan questions. We actually got a bunch here from our friend Craig. So, do you want to do all of these back to back, or do you want to do one and then go
break it up a bit?
Yeah, I think we'll do like 3 because he gave us like 6 right in one go. First of all, he asks us, would we rather have a cock for a nose or a nose for a cock? This is an interesting question right here. What would you rather have, Matt? So basically, you want a penis on your head?
No, so I'm guessing I'd go nose cock.
I went nose cock.
But I mean, that's the only trouble, because if it's like a really hot day, you're going to smell your stank.
Yeah, but the way I looked at it, Matt, is that like this is getting a little bit intimate here, but I actually enjoy the smell of pussy, so I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's the sexual gratification. If I get the sexual,
but that's it. You're gonna get like that one sexual gratification, but you're also gonna spend like a whole day just going like, my junk stinks. Like if it's one of those real hot days.
Oh, what about if you're having like diarrhea? Oh shit, man, that'd be bad. Actually, you're making me second guess now. I'm not entirely sure.
But I don't want a dick on my face.
Nah, the idea of that, I'm like, people would just be like, I could live my life normally with people by having my cock being a nose. If I got a big fucking.
But then to be fair, you say like, well, if you got like you're taking a dump, but like sometimes there's nothing more satisfying. Like when it stinks, you're like, that was a good shit.
Oh dear. Well, there is that.
But I'm still gonna go like, I'm gonna go for nose dick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go nose dick. That's what I'm gonna go.
I don't want a dick on my face.
Yeah, that's it. Another one here. He asks if Matt. He says, "Are you still a chibi little man?" I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's something you would know.
Don't even know.
Or are you a chibi little man anyway?
I don't know.
You're not little. There's that one thing.
I'm actually genuinely having to.
This is one thing, right? That you've got like.
I need to have a talk with Craig.
This is a private joke that you've like completely forgotten or something. So you're like, oh, fuck.
Like Urban Dictionary is a short person who looks like they should be taller but aren't. So no, I'm not a chibi little man.
Maybe it was meant for me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know that.
I don't know.
But still. And the last one in this little batch here before we get back to your questions, Craig. Does my cane have special powers? They don't, but they elevate my special powers. It's like a wand, but cooler and way more fashionable. So, yeah, that's it. That's why I can interchange canes and still have the magic.
Fair enough.
Are you buying that, Matt? Yeah.
No,
you don't buy it for a second. I've been watching so much Harry Potter, Matt. It's because I'm trying to get my spells down. That's what I'm doing, Matt. Yeah,
that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, except when I go Wingardium Leviosa, I'm like hitting the fucking walls because I've got like a long cane rather than a little piddly one.
Trouble is, I can't help just thinking of the Oni cartoons.
Or was it that SNL sketch with fucking Lindsay Lohan being Hermione? They're like, "Oh, you've certainly filled out over the holidays, Hermione."
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen it?
No, I might track it down.
Yeah, you have to watch it. There you go. All right then, Matt. Another topic here. This shouldn't be too long.
I must quickly ask.
Go on.
Is it attractive Lindsay Lohan or skanky Lindsay Lohan?
It's kind of in the middle.
Okay, so it's middle ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Lindsay Lohan pretending to be Hermione. I mean, at the very least, that's going to get something going for you. So there you go.
Fair enough.
All right, here we go. This news came out just I think it was like yesterday, maybe. Donald Trump is the Republican nomination officially. Donald
Trump is the Undertaker.
You have to share that up on the LTW page. Yeah, essentially.
I love that video so much.
But here you go. Like, I want to ask though, guys, like American fans, you don't really want him as president, do you? Are you doing it? I guess you're doing this for shits and gigs, right? It'd be funny if he was, right? Is that's what you're doing? Because it seems a bit, I can't ask much, Matt. We got Boris Johnson as our foreign secretary.
Yeah, so that's quite true.
I'd actually pay good money to see a match between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump. I'd pay good money for that.
I can only just imagine. Just goes up to like Japanese embassy, who's like, "Hello, slanty man." Oh God.
I'm waiting for the first gaff. The first gaff is going to be the best. I'd say it's going.
I think they've probably not forgiven him since he rugby tackled that kid.
I forgot about that. He proper fucked him up, didn't he? Oh dear. He did that the soccer aid, and he tackled a bunch of people. They're the worst tackle in football history.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's known for that on occasion. But anyway, Donald Trump, he is the Republican nomination. I don't know if Hillary Clinton is set in stone, but it looks like she will be. So it's going to be Clinton against Trump. I think Clinton will win. But the whole deal with it there was that his wife plagiarized
fucking Michelle Obama's speech.
Yeah.
45% of it wasn't her own or something like that. That's quite a lot.
That's a pretty significant chunk, is it not? And at the very least, she could plagiarize a speech that was at least done before the last president, right?
Yeah. Go back to sort of JFK's or something. Just ridiculous. I watched it this morning, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Is it one of those things that I'll just Google something like inspirational speeches, and she just took whatever first came up and just used that, not even realizing where it was from. So
crap.
Plagiarism at its best, Matt. Plagiarism at its best. There you go.
That's it.
But honestly, I'm whenever I look at America as a whole, I'm you do realize if you actually elect Trump as your president, the entire world will be both scared and disappointed. Essentially, it's one of those things that maybe it will show the country for maybe what it really is, and that people radically want something different. Whether or not they want it to be this guy, the guy who contradicts himself almost with every sentence. I've got no time for Trump, but there we are. It's clear that WWE supports him, but let's leave that. Not talk wrestling. We're not talking wrestling. There we go.
That's it.
What do you think of Trump anyway, Matt? Do you think he's got a chance of winning? I don't think he'll win.
I wouldn't want to think it.
It would be scary, would it not?
No, that's quite true.
There we are. It's funny because I think the more you get people raising their voices against him, it's the more traction he gets.
Yeah.
So you could say he's actually done a brilliant campaign in that sense. That he's just managed to make it so any publicity for him is publicity that's worked for him. So it's managed to translate into votes at some point, but still, there we are. All right, let's get back to those questions then before we wrap this sort of stuff up. We've got a few more deeper questions here. He asks us, who is our favourite Craig? My favourite Craig, come on, Craig, you know who it is. Come on, you slide dog. Of course, it's Craig Campbell, the comedian. He's a very funny guy, and he's one of my favourite comedians.
Isn't he the moose fucker?
He's the moose fucker. That's exactly what he is. In fact, his website is moosefucker.com. So there you go. He's my favourite comedian. What about you, Matt? What's your favourite Craig?
Craig Charles. He brought us Robot Wars.
Oh, well, there you go. And, Red Dwarf right there.
Red Dwarf, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Craig, I will say that I do like it.
Barbecue of his soon. This could be quite interesting.
But listen, like you're a Manchester United fan. I can't name you number one, otherwise I wouldn't be a good City fan. That's the way it is, all right? That's the way it is. But for anyone that doesn't know, Craig actually came with us. He actually is the one who sorted out our tickets to NXT TakeOver. He's one of the only people out there with an actual LTW t-shirt, so he's a big ass supporter of the show. We're only fucking around with you, Craig. What he also asks, why does it always rain on you? My answer to that is, I live in Ireland. You know nothing. I would say Jon Snow, but there we are. Honestly, that you can't say anything until you've been to Ireland. You cannot say a fucking damn thing. You've been here enough, Matt, to visit me.
Yeah, that's quite true. There's been a few. I was about to say a few good days, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. A few deep. Are you ready for some deep questions here, Matt?
Yep.
Are you ready? This one's probably the deepest one we'll do. Do we think that any kind of afterlife exists? It's deep shit right there. Deep shit. That's what we're doing this for, though. What do you think, Matt? What do you think any kind of afterlives exist, or do we just rot in the ground?
I don't know. It's tough. To be perfectly honest, it's the one thing that I've always tried sort of avoid wondering about, because it's sort of like, I can't control that crap. I'll worry. I don't have to worry about it.
It's kind of morbid to think of it, of your own death. And it's one of those things that, like, as you say that, I was kind of the same, but I've been thinking about it more and more recently. I don't know why. I've just have been. I guess that maybe I describe myself as like, how did I best describe this? A very skeptical and cynical religious man. That I don't have any time for any church. I don't read the Bible. I wouldn't go as far as to call myself an atheist, right? So, yeah, I'd like to believe that there is a kind of afterlife, but whether or not it's out of the fear of just nothingness, like when I die, or anything like just a fear, which I imagine a lot of religious people have, that they cling to the idea that when I die, I'll go somewhere else, my existence won't end. I'd agree. It may just be out of fear on my part.
I think that's what it all stems down to. Is the fact that it's sort of like, I do so much now, but what happens in 80 years' time when I'm in the ground? Like, will I continue to exist? It's like, well, no. Probably not. And it's a very morbid thing to think about, but what else do you want me to say? Sure, you will go to a great place in the sky where, like, made-up people go or exist. That's why I'm just not really going to a religion rant, but there we go.
Yeah, it's
my invisible friend is better than your invisible friend. That's how wars start, kids.
Yeah. Essentially. That's I see with me, like I like to look at like facts and science and stuff like this. And facts and science say that when we die, we're dead, we rot in the ground. But maybe it's like the whole part of me that worries about like just there being nothing that makes me be just like even a teensy bit religious. And I'm like, I kind of think of things a little bit different. So basically my head outrightly says there is no afterlife. But sometimes when I think about it and I worry and I wonder and I start letting myself think. So it's like the realist versus like the, I won't lie and say that sometimes I sit there and I think to myself, well, there could be, couldn't they? And then sometimes I'm like, well, actually, no. Yeah. But maybe I'm a little bit more in a grey area than you, Matt, where it's kind of just like, that's pretty much it. So better make the most of it now while we're around, sort of thing. His other question here is, would we rather be hated or forgotten? That's another deep one there for you.
Hated.
You'd rather be hated than forgotten?
I don't know.
You're not too sure?
I guess it all boils down to that sort of like, it kind of stems from the same sort of like what happens after death sort of thing. Because it's like, I don't know what happens. But I'm not too sure if I like that answer. And in the same way, I'd like to think I'll go somewhere where I'm in the ground, but also it's like, I hope I live on in people's memories. And then that's like the second thing that you worry about.
Yeah, isn't it? It's I tell you what's funny with this is that I feel like as I get older, my answer to this changes. That like as I get older, I can deal with hate far easier, but as I get older, the more and more I want to leave like a lasting impact on the world.
Yeah.
Um,
But do I want it to be a negative one, or do I want
yeah,
to just go off into the nothing?
yeah. I think I'd much rather be hated. I think personally, I don't know why. The idea of being completely forgotten and having like zero impact. Some people may say, well, that was like, you could end up being like a Hitler and having an impact on the world, a massive one, but it was massively negative and hurt so many people. Yeah, I mean, that's the back and forth in there. But I guess if it was to that extreme, then maybe I better off being forgotten, I guess. But I find as I get older, Matt, the more and more as I get older, I'm like, I'm not that old. I'm not even 30. But as the older I get, I'm like, less and less am I like, oh, I don't want to do this because someone dislike it. I'm like, I want to do this because it might leave a lasting impact. Like, I'm sure that some people have listened to this, to the show that we do. They don't like it or it upsets them maybe that we don't have a different view. I care much less about that because I want to leave something that people can go back and listen to whenever they want. Even if tomorrow, touch wood, doesn't happen, I get run over by a car. All right? It's still there. People can view it. My thoughts are out there. It's something, right? And I've got my kids, of course, which is pretty much the ultimate,
means to live on.
Well, no, I mean like, ultimate mark that you leave on the world, isn't it? For your kids and shit like that. So, all right then. So, last thing really to talk about here, I just put in at the end, is tattoos. I put up here, and obviously the reason I did this, Matt, you know why. I got a tattoo this week.
Mm-hmm.
On the trip over. It's starting to scab up a bit now. But for people that are wondering there, I basically got the Deathly Hallows as the A, and it says always going across. Reason being for that, I met my wife on a Harry Potter writing site. That's how I met my wife many, many, many years ago. Because I'm a writer. I like to write. But Matt, I like to talk about this because you've got tattoos I didn't even know you had, because you've got one that you're not happy with at the moment. Yeah. Now, what happened there?
It's a botch.
What do you mean? Like
botch?
Is it a botch on their end, or is it you planned it poorly?
Both.
Okay.
I planned it poorly in what I wanted. In hindsight, it's probably not exactly what I wanted at all. But then it's also a botch in the extent that I'm like, oh, I'm really poor. I really want a tattoo. So I'm going to get an apprentice to do it.
Oh, dear. Okay.
And yeah, okay, fair enough. Like, I'm helping in him becoming a better artist or whatever. Yeah. But I'm just like, and then afterwards it was done. I was like, this is a fucking mess. And I didn't even challenge anything about it. I was just like, right, well, I'm not going back.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even do anything. Obviously, there was an actual artist on site, and I was sort of like, no. I was going to keep it as a permanent reminder not to rush into things and all that, but just, no.
So what are you planning on getting done to it now? Are you going to get one that covers it, or are you going to get it lasered off?
Covered.
Covered, yeah.
Because of the size of it, and the fact that not the size of it, the location, and a lot of it is very thick black lining. I think it's literally going to be, I kind of refer to it as like Western tribal. It's the thick black tribal. I think that's what it's probably going to have to become.
Oh, okay, yeah. But less of like the Maori sort of thing,
which is the next part of the plan. Because I'm going to get that fixed from chest onto arm as the thick Western sort of tribal. And then the rest of the left hand is going to be Maori, Samoan, Polynesian tribal.
Oh, cool. Nice. See, I want to get all mine connected because I've got a lot of very single tattoos. Yeah. Like this one here I've got done just below my wrist. So that's probably the one furthest out of my limbs I've got done. The rest are either on my arms or on my back.
Yes.
But they're all single. They're all just basically like individual pieces. So I was thinking of maybe trying to get something that joins them all together. Makes it look like I didn't just slap on a bunch of ideas, but eventually had some sort of end game. I don't know. But if I get any tattoos done now, it's going to be in England, because the place I got this done, it's very small. And it was only 20 quid. My wife got the same tattoo, obviously, because it's with the meaning of it. but it was 20 quid. When we got it, a similar style one spoken about in a place in Ireland where I live. Here they do it differently. I'm sure not every place does it, but here they do it differently, whereas you got to pay for an hour time, which is 80 euros.
It depends on the artists.
Yeah, but all the places we've gone here are under that.
Yeah.
Doing it. Whereas when we went to the other place, we said, look, do you mind doing this? He said, 20 quid each. And we had someone else who just got their first one done. And it was very much like, okay, well, I'll just get 3 of you done. And because they're small tattoos, you got all of us done in like 40 minutes. Yeah. So it was, instead of paying 80 quid for one tattoo, it was like 50 quid for 3 small ones. So good ones there. Are there any tattoos that you're happy with, Matt? Any of that you're actually proud of? I know you got one that you don't like at the moment. But what's the one that you're happy with?
Probably my back.
Remind us what have you got on your back?
I've got a. This is me going on like, oh fuck religion. I have a winged crucifix on my back. With the 2 family names in banners. My mom's maiden name and my surname.
Yeah, fair enough. My hat, obviously, you know which one is my favourite. I've got the Alter Bridge Blackbird. You can actually Google it. I've got that on my back. So, and quite big. You were there, Matt, when I had it done. I thought my brain was going to fall off because it, going across the spine in certain parts. That's the most painful one I've ever had done.
Thank you. The many jokes of us discussing rubbing sensual oils upon each other.
Where someone thought we were a legitimate gay couple because they were looking at us through a window when you were covering my back in Savlon, which is antiseptic cream. I don't know what the name for it is over in America, but yeah, it's the stuff that you rub on your tattoos. If you've never had a tattoo done, like I'm at the point now where mine started to scab up, and because it's quite very intricate writing, it just looks like a black blob, kind of a little bit.
I can imagine that being the case at the moment.
Yeah, whereas now, in time, obviously, when it starts peeling off, it'll be okay. My wife's is a lot better because I don't know whether or not she's got better skin for it.
Taken to it better.
Yeah, or she's just been taking care of it better. That's kind of a bit about it there. But maybe better with the aftercare or anything like that. Like she said to me, oh, how often have you cleaned it? And I said, well, I did one clean after first applying the Savlon. And then I haven't done any since then. And she's like, I've cleaned mine every single Savlon done. I'm like, okay, can you clean mine for me? So she gradually did all the bits. Now it looks a lot better, but there we go. It was looking like a mess for a while.
I'm like her, though. I clean meticulously.
Oh, you're a lot better than I am then, Matt. So there you are. Yeah, I should have the botch tattoo, Matt. It should be me. I should have that, but alas it is. All right, guys. I think that's us. It was only supposed to be like an hour. I think we're close to about an hour or over it. That's our Let's Not Talk Wrestling podcast. I hope you did enjoy it. Is there anything else, Matt, that you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, I got nothing else to say.
It's weird us finishing a podcast this early. So it is. This is our little thank you for letting us having that week off, and you guys are really nice for I know some people even left us notes, especially just saying, oh, our week wasn't the same without it, or I've grown used to the show being out. It makes it known that we're doing something right, that you enjoy the show each week. So it's really good stuff there. Back to a lot of wrestling talk over the weekend, Matt. A fucking
draft.
Yeah, it's draft week. We are reviewing SmackDown instead of Raw. So anyone thinking of that, because obviously that's where the draft happened. And we've got to do our predictions for the pay-per-view this weekend. So next week will be the pay-per-view review. Whether or not we get round to it, our Lucha review will be in the next 2 weeks of the final Ultima Lucha DOS. And the season review, of course. And then we'll be pretty much caught up to things. And we'll give our thoughts and stuff like that there. You know what? I won't go through the plugs again. You can catch them all in the descriptions. We want to head out here. We want to do our shit. And I hope you guys did enjoy this. And if you did, just let us know. And if you want us to do it more often, I'm sure me and Matt will try and find some time to pump this out. Or if you want one done with just, if Matt's not available, how I might even get my wife or someone else to come on do it. Something a little bit different for you guys. So let us know if you do enjoy, if you do want more, and we will do what we can for you there. All right, then, guys, have a great week. We'll catch you at the weekend. Have a great time. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you then.
Soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.